Hey everybody, what's good? How we doing? We are back with yet another video. That one wasn't as nerdy, I don't think. My hair definitely is nerdy, but that's completely fine. What's good, everybody? How we doing today? Yeah, it's me, Cody. Yeah. Uh, Yesterday I had no idea. Today I still really have no idea, but there's kind of something in the works, I guess. Uh, Wanting to make full long videos and don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So today, I figure we'll quickly go over things. Baltimore announced their new head coach, so we are halfway through the coaching carousel. We'll quickly talk about the rest of the positions and things I've heard quickly about them. But we'll talk about the three coaches that I haven't really went into detail about, as I did a whole full-on video about John Harbaugh. Harbaugh's been a pretty good coach for a while now, so I don't think he was really a big surprise. Bob Sala, I talked about him for the Titans, which I was super excited by, obviously. But yeah, three more coaches were hired. Haven't got to talk about them a lot. The first one, Atlanta hired Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski was the head coach for the Cleveland Browns for quite a few years. I want to say it was 2020. If I'm completely wrong, go completely wrong. I think if I look correctly, it was like 45 and 56 as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, and obviously I could definitely fact check that after the video, but a little bit too late now. Stefanski, I think, is going to bring something a little bit different to Atlanta. Atlanta definitely has a lot of talent on their roster, just have had an issue of putting it all together. Do I don't hate the hiring. I don't love the hiring. I mean, this is the decision that they're making. There's a few coaches left that I think were going to get really good looks, but the problem is that they're still coaching football. The Rams, I know, have people that were wanting to be interviewed. I believe they have Shula. I know Vance Joseph in Denver is wanting to be looked at. I think in New England, I don't think anybody's going to be taking a shot on Josh McDaniel anytime soon. Maybe they are. I don't completely know. I know the Seahawks have a couple guys as well. I believe they have a Kubiak. They might not. I don't remember completely. He might have been a 49ers guy, but yeah, regardless. Um, and the problem is that these teams get a little bit hungry, right? Because you want to get that new guy in the building. You want to get him in there quickly. Which kind of brings us to the Dolphins here in a minute. I think what Stefanski's going to be able to do, and I know I'm hearing that Bill Callahan will be the offensive lines coach. If he's able to just get an offense in there that can get Bijan out in space, maybe work Kyle Pitts and Drake London magic if you keep them both on the roster, which I would sure assume you would. They both are really, really talented players when somebody can actually throw them the ball. The real big, interesting thing for me would be who the quarterback's going to be. I personally thought Kirk Cousins looked miles better than Michael Penix, but I also do think Michael Penix might, I mean, your future is probably in Michael Penix. So I kind of understand both situations in that regard. They really put themselves in a weird situation, drafting and then after signing Kirk Cousins that big massive deal. So hopefully Stefanski can get that figured out. The defense showed a little bit of promise last year. Not really a lot of roster things that you have to really tweak too much. Just kind of figured out cap room and getting things over there. Next up was Jeff Hafley, as he was announced before Bobby Sala. Jeff Hafley is going to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, replacing Mike McDaniel, who, by the way, went over to the Los Angeles Chargers as an offensive coordinator, and I'm very jealous. I was really hoping he would be a Titan. Obviously, that is not the case. Jeff Hafley, he has been a head coach before, not in the NFL, but in the NCAA realm. He was the head coach of the Boston College. I believe they're the Golden Eagles, but if I remember correctly, that record was 22 and 26. Jeff Hafley was a really good defensive coordinator for the Packers for the last 2 years. Their defenses were absolutely flying to the ball, playing really good football. Miami kind of needs a defensive guy, in my personal opinion. I think that's going to be a thing I reiterate when we talk about the Ravens as well. Their defense just was not it. I think that I would love to see a situation for them. Well, and I have a feeling that Tua is probably going to be on the way out the door. I would love to see them figure out an O line and D line. The D line, they've had so many really solid players up there. The O line, you know, you could question it. I really think they got to cement that first. I mean, the secondary definitely could use some help over there in Miami. I mean, they had like 4 or 5 of them injured before the season even started, I'm pretty sure. Linebacker crew, decent crew. I think there's a lot of things that you had to fix over there in Miami. The offense is kind of all over the place. Tyreek Hill's apparently on the way out the door. Tua probably on the way out the door. Jeff Halfley kind of took a job that's got a little bit of holes that you got to fix. But hey, I think that that's probably why he was looking in those situations. We've seen a lot of college football coaches not make it in the NFL. So hopefully Jeff Halfley is going to be the caveat of that and get his team into the right stratosphere and get himself wins. Granted, he wasn't a coach that had a lot of success in the ACC, but I don't know. I think I kind of like what Miami's pick here is. His blitz packages are very interesting to watch. Well, I think maybe they got a good, decent guy here. And as of today, the Baltimore Ravens have apparently hired Jesse Minter as their head coach. Jesse Minter is technically 1-0 as a head coach for as he was a interim head coach for Jim Harbaugh when he was the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. This is the this one's a little bit crazy to me, a little bit like in my head because Harbaugh just left and Jesse Minter's going to leave his brother's staff to go coach the team that his brother. Yeah, you know. To be honest with you, I think. Yeah, actually, I would say this roster is a little bit more fun to play than Buffalo. Roster wise, I think it's probably the best head coaching candidacy that was open. You have Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry. If you can get an O line to just produce holes, you got a good run game. Obviously, Henry's got to hold on to the ball. I know that's a big key thing. I'm a Titans fan, so I'm very biased towards Derrick Henry. You still have Zay Flowers on the outside. I believe they re-signed Rashad Bateman to a decent contract. I don't know how I feel about that too much, to be completely honest with you. But their defense was absolutely abysmal. So Jesse Minter coming in there and fixing that. You have talent like Kyle Hamilton and Roquan. There's no reason that they're playing that horribly. They have a lot of talent. We'll see what they do over there. I really do think that Jesse Minter was a really good hire. Not surprised at all that he got a head coaching opportunity. His defense in LA was just absolutely incredible. Held Drake May to, I believe, like 16 points. Yeah, no, he definitely showed up and showed out. Definitely a really good hire if you're the Baltimore Ravens. I do think I very much like that one for you. Is there anything else that I was forgetting? Anything? No, no, no. We have 5 more head coach openings, and I wanted to quickly discuss them in Cleveland. So there's been now a couple head coaches that have backed out of the interview process. Mike McDaniel backed out, and obviously Jesse Minter did today, as he has apparently decided to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think, and this is a long shot, and it probably will not happen. I think I'd like to see Jim Schwartz be the guy that gets like developed. You know, he goes up to getting promoted to be the new head coach over there. Of course, Jim Schwartz was a head coach for the Detroit Lions. Did not turn out too well. Did get into the playoffs one year, and I mean, if we're giving Kevin Stefanski credit for that back then, giving Jim Schwartz getting them in the playoffs was definitely a shot in the right direction over there. Uh, Otherwise, I don't know. That's a tough job to take. I mean, you do have Shador Sanders, who has showed promise, so I think that could be a really good spot if you're kind of like an offensive guy wanting to tweak things. But I'm starting to think in my head that Cleveland might go the Jim Schwartz route, but I definitely could see any. Who knows at this point, to be honest with you. I know Pittsburgh also has an opening. So from what I saw, the Kevin or Brian Flores signed an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. But if I'm told right, if he does not get a head coaching job this cycle, then that's where he's going to be. But I do believe that he was the front runner for the Pittsburgh Steelers job, and I think I really like that pick. Their defense definitely needs something reinvigorated into it. An offensive guy wouldn't be bad at all. I know I've heard Mike McCarthy's name attached to that. Wouldn't hate that either, to be honest with you. Just somebody that's, and I know the Steelers have a habit of trying to go young, so definitely a Chris Shula kind of situation could be good over there. I could definitely see that whatsoever. Yeah, Pittsburgh's job, I think, is very, very fun to look at. Arizona. So they just lost their offensive coordinator to the Detroit Lions, Jonathan Gannon. Obviously, they let him go a few weeks ago. My thinking for the head coach job over there, this one, this one's a tough one, right? Because it's hard to predict right off the top of my head. Uh, Maybe could be a spot Vance Joseph looks at, but I think you're probably wanting to go for an offensive guy. I don't know if there's anybody else that was fired from this cycle that you would really be taking a huge look at. I mean, Sean McDermott is definitely an opportunity over there. That's a tough job right there, especially with Kyler Murray's contract situation. Yeah, that one is a hard one for me to grade right off the top of my head. I don't know how I feel about that because Cliff Kingsbury's obviously out there, but I don't think that that's going to be a possibility whatsoever. I don't know why he would go back, and I don't know why Arizona would want him back. Definitely could see the offensive guy from Seattle maybe taking that job. Maybe Kubiak from the 49ers. Maybe that could be the case. Passing game coordinator or quarterback coach Davis Mills from Denver. Could be one of those opportunities over there as well. Who was another one? Holy crap, well, I was talking too much and I forgot all about who was left. Buffalo. I do expect that one to be Joe Brady. I don't think I'm crazy expecting that. I think Joe Brady is probably the guy that they lean towards there. I know they've looked to interview Brian Dable as well, and that's not a surprise whatsoever. The press conference situation over there in Buffalo was crazy, huh? I mean, yeah, we didn't want to draft Keon Coleman. That was a coaching decision. Like, there's videos of Brandon Bean saying he wanted Keon Coleman, and I'm a Keon Coleman guy. All right, I want Keon Coleman to succeed. Very fun guy. Hopefully, he gets his head locked in. He gets things going over there in Buffalo. I mean, listen, it's hard. It's hard, man. Hard to adjust to that kind of style. So I could only imagine because I'm just a guy that sits here in front of a computer and tries to talk about stuff that I would have no business, knowing. To be honest with you, I played football, but not good. Uh, but last spot remaining would be Las Vegas. This is where I expect to see a young coach be kind of like put into that direction, which is kind of where my head is thinking. Kind of Sheila. I really like that one for Las Vegas. I think with the new offense, and this could definitely be a spot for an offensive guy. I don't know what offensive guys are really like crazily going right now, and if there is, I'll try to talk about it in the next video. I'm gonna try to keep like just putting out something stupid every day. Vegas. Vegas has Mendoza very likely lined up, unless a massive trade happens. Which, if I'm Vegas, I probably look at that route. To be honest with you, there's a lot of quarterback needy teams who would basically just like let you know, hey, I'm giving up on this quarterback. Of course, they could be waiting until next year where Arch Manning, Darian Mensah, all those guys are coming out. There's some pretty talented roster people coming out next year. Uh, but yeah, I think Vegas really needs to get a young guy in there. So there's probably going to be a couple openings. Obviously, the NFC West is where a lot of people are looking at for their people. Definitely could be Denver, but I don't really see Denver losing anybody, to be honest with you. They might. I just don't. I don't know why I would see anybody on the offensive side really going over there, but definitely could be a possibility. So I think I said Davis Mills, by the way, earlier. It's Davis Webb. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I mean, we talked a little bit about all these positions open up next. Yeah, I have no idea. It's been a fun cycle, man. Coaching the carousel. Halfway done, though. Let me know what you think. If your team is still looking for a head coach, who would you like to see? Let me know if there's candidates that I just didn't even think about off the top of my dumb head. I appreciate you so much. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, please leave me a like, please leave me a comment, please leave me a subscribe if you don't mind. And I'll see you all next video.